Hey guys, and welcome back to Mulberry Branch Farm. Today is going to be a little bit of a different speed. I'm going to be sharing a side of myself that I think is pretty foundational in what we've built our farm on, what we pay a lot of our success to, and it's something that both my husband and I feel is important to keep within our family, and that's faith. So here on a Sunday, the Sabbath, the day of rest, so this is going to be a little bit of a devotional. I've chosen a Bible verse that kind of goes along with what I want to talk to you guys about today. I did testify at my home church about this about 2 weeks ago, and for some reason it's still on my heart, especially around the holiday season, because while this season for myself and my family is all about celebrating the birth of Jesus and God sending his only son to earth to come in the most humble of ways in a manger of all places, that brings a lot of joy and hope into our lives. But there are a lot of people out there that the holidays are something different. They don't bring hope and joy. They bring loneliness and they bring despair and isolation. And sometimes there are a lot of underlying factors for that in people's lives that have caused them to feel that way when the holidays come about. So while this isn't your normal Christmas verse, this is a verse that kind of goes along with the story that I'm about to tell you. So the story I want to talk to you about is, you guys have seen June and Django. They are our mulberry mutts. June is a fantastic, great pure mix with Anatolian Shepherd and English Shepherd, and Django is probably the most energetic miniature Australian Shepherd pain in my butt that there's ever been in the entire world. But we love him to death. And we feed them every day at the same time. And we make sure that we're feeding them good food that's nutritious for them, that supplements their body, that gives them enough strength to go on tomorrow when we offer them food again. But I've been noticing lately that June, our great peer, gets a little bit finicky around dinner time. And after a couple of days of watching her do this, I had to just kind of step back and look at a bigger picture. I noticed that she would go to guard her food from Django, who was not challenging whatsoever. But she would guard that food and not eat it and then run to the door. And most of the times I would let her out because maybe this dog food just isn't meshing well with her stomach. And after a couple of days of seeing the same routine, I had to just stop and watch her. I let her out like I usually would and watched her through the kitchen window. And she'd found an old bone. Disgusting, dried up, nothing left to offer, no nutrition to it. But for some reason, she was leaving her food that was given to her daily to go guard this bone of something old and dead. And I just had to stop and think about that for a little bit. She didn't care about what was in front of her at the moment. She didn't care about the food that was coming every single day. She couldn't look ahead at feeding time. All she could think of when that food was set in front of her was something that was already dead and gone. She dwelled over these dead bones like they were gold, and they couldn't give her supplication, they couldn't give her nutrients, but there was just something in her mindset that said, I need to dwell over these bones and not worry about the things that are in front of me. So the Bible verse I'm actually going to share with you guys today is going to be Isaiah chapter 43, verses 18 through 20. And it says, "Do not remember the former things, nor consider the things of old. Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall you not know it? I will even make a road in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. The beasts of the field will honor me, the jackals and the ostriches, because I give waters unto the wilderness and rivers in the desert. I give drink to my people and my chosen." And the reason that this kind of came to me is just because there's a lot of people around the Christmas season that maybe something bad's happened in their lives, something dead and old and in the past, that they can't leave. They can't let go of it to see the new things that Jesus Christ is putting in front of them. They can't see the waters that are cutting through their desert. They'd rather stay out in the desert than go to the oasis that's popping up right in front of them. And it breaks my heart to think that there are people out there in the Christmas season that are embracing loneliness and depression and isolation because they're caught up on things that were done to them in the past. They're caught up over these old dead bones that can't do any good for them now. They can't look forward because they're too busy looking behind them. And I myself am I'm very guilty of doing this a lot. We're all human. We all make mistakes. And Lord knows that when you're talking to somebody or when you're having experiences with someone, it's always those negative things that you remember first. Those are always the things we dwell on. Those coulda, shoulda, wouldas, or how something should have gone, or why did someone say this to me, or why did it hurt so much, instead of just handing it over to the Lord and saying, I can't handle this. This can't be my burden. I'm going to put it at your feet and let you take it. And I feel like admitting those weaknesses and giving the Lord our flaws gives him tools to make those our strengths. He gives those as tools for us to build testimonies that will encourage others that are busy dwelling over old bones. I've dwelt over old bones a lot in my life. I know I will dwell over them still in the years to come, but knowing that God has something great for me ahead is what keeps me going, is knowing that there is a tomorrow, and that tomorrow, while today might be bad, tomorrow might not be so bad. It might be a lot better. There might be opportunities for God to use my weaknesses and turn them into strengths. So I guess what I'm getting at is this is the Christmas season. We've been given the greatest gift that could ever be recorded. And there are some of us out there that are just dealing with so much in our hearts, in our minds, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, where we're just bogged down, we're tied to those old bones, and it's time to let them go. Because if you let them go, you're going to start seeing the things that are ahead for you. The good things that are ahead for you. The things that will give you supplication. The things that will nourish you. The things that will take your weaknesses and make them strengths. The things that will turn your sad story into a story of victory and pride and happiness. And I want to encourage you today to take those steps to let go of those old bones. And I'll bring you guys back to verse 19. Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall you not know it? I will even make a road in the wilderness. When you think about wilderness, it's a thick, dense environment where there's really no path through it. It's easy to get lost in the wilderness. I'm pretty sure there's a couple stories in the Bible about people getting lost in the wilderness for like 40 years. But God can make a path through that. He can make it just appear. And behold, I do a new thing. Are you going to see the new thing if you're too busy looking at the old thing in the past? At the old dead bones? I don't think you would. And I think that's why it's important to let it go. Honestly, the only way that I got my dog to quit going out and chewing up the old bones was removing them and making sure that she couldn't go get them again. She tried her darndest. She went sniffing for them, but once she realized that they were really gone, she was able to focus on her feed and eat her food and be happy in her nice warm home where we take very good care of her, and she was much happier for it. I hate to put it in simple terms of the story of my livestock guardian dog, but it really can be that easy. So fair warning through the month of December, there's going to be a devotional every Sunday, and I promise it's not always going to be about dead bones and not looking or dwelling in the past. And while I am scared to death to post this video, I'm going to post it because I don't know who's going to hear this. I feel like this has been pressed on my heart. So it means that it's for somebody out there. It's for somebody to leave their old dead bones behind and to look forward. And if that helps them here during the Christmas season, or if it helps them at any point in this video's lifespan going forward, then it's totally worth it. But I want to encourage each and every one of you out there during the Christmas season. You're not alone. There's a lot of love in this season. There's a great gift that's been given, whether you want to accept it or not. That's the wonderful thing about a present. You can either unwrap it and open it, or you can leave it. It's your choice. But I want to make sure that if someone's out there and they need to hear these words, to be right with the Lord and to let go of things in the past, to enjoy their future, and to say goodbye to loneliness and isolation and depression, then it makes the fear that I'm feeling just videotaping this all worth it. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much for being here on Mulberry Branch Farm's first devotional. But that's going to do it for us here at Mulberry Branch Farm. Thank you so much for being here. I hope that this is somehow spoken to somebody out there. And I'll catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.